So Iranian soldiers about to be puking and internally bleeding. I'm gonna be real. Like if I was part of the IRGC and I saw what happened in Venezuela, I would be roaching the fuck out. I would be gone, especially after they got all their nuke stuff blown up too. Like I'd be freaking the fuck out.
All right, it is 9 minutes after the top of the hour, and the president of Iran is warning the United States that any attacks on their supreme leader could constitute an all-out war, as President Trump calls for an end to the Ayatollah's reign.
So Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst all over this. He joins us from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. Over the weekend, Iran's supreme leader continued to attack President Trump and the United States of America. The Ayatollah Khamenei
On Twitter.
Addressed a crowd on Saturday that was chanting death to America and death to Israel as he called President Trump a criminal. The remarks, which were broadcast on state-controlled media, followed a slew of X posts where he falsely claimed the U.S. orchestrated the mass killing and chaos in Iran.
We consider the U.S. president a criminal for the casualties, damages, and the slander he inflicted on the Iranian nation.
In an interview with Politico, President Trump responded saying it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. And on Sunday, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian warned that any aggression against the supreme leader would be considered an all-out war. As the country's leadership is discussing more about the protests, new video provided to Fox News by a source in Tehran shows Iranians gathered outside of a morgue demanding answers about their loved ones.
Yeah, because all the people were getting killed. That's why they turned off the internet, obviously. That's what happened.
The Iranian regime is now admitting at least 5,000 people were killed during these demonstrations.
Anybody could see
the
this.
True number is likely much higher and could be in the tens of thousands, according to some estimates.
It's probably in the tens of
source in
thousands.
the predominantly Kurdish Iranian city of Kermanshah told Fox News that he saw bodies in the streets and that security forces came and took some of the bodies away. Around the world, protests and vigils have been held for those Iranians who were killed and the thousands that remain imprisoned following the crackdown.
Surely they're going to let them out of jail, right?
Message here is keep pressure
Surely
on
they
Iran.
will.
Yeah, and what's really important is, as the vigil tonight is calling for, is all political prisoners need to be free. So President Trump should set that as a new red line to have the Iranian regime release 50,000 protesters, peaceful protesters that were arrested by the regime.
There's nothing that you can do. You have to get rid of them, because if you don't get rid of them, they're just going to go after and get these people later on. Like, it's not like they can't just kill them later. So they'll do this to make Trump relent on them, and then they're going to turn around and start doing the same thing again. Like, it's not like you can just, you pinky promised. That doesn't mean, it's not how it works. They're just going to change their mind.
So we're asking the White House, keep the pressure on Iran.
Here in Israel, the military and political echelons continue to hold consultations about the possibility of war with Iran. Guys, back to you.
I don't think there's going to be a war.
Trey, the death toll you kind of indicated is higher than listed. I've heard 16,500. I've heard 300,000 have been hurt. What numbers are you getting?
Yeah, the death toll is far higher than we even know. The Iranians themselves are admitting 5,000 killed amid these demonstrations. Human rights organizations say the number could be north of 12 or even 16,000. The issue here is an internet blackout, making it incredibly difficult to get information.
Well, it's just like, logically, why would they turn off the internet? They obviously turned it off so they could kill their people. So there wouldn't be as much of an international outrage over it. That's clearly what happened. I don't see how anybody would not come to that immediate conclusion.
The ground in Iran. I've been speaking with Iranians who are using Starlink satellite uplinks.
Suspicious, yeah.
And they say that they have seen hundreds killed in their cities.
Holy fuck.
Kermanshah in the predominantly Kurdish area of Iran. Further south of Tehran, in Isfahan, in the capital.
What gets me is the rest of the world is silent. We have a literal crime against humanity happening, and the U.S. are the only ones wanting to do something about it. The global community are a bunch of cucks, and their opinions on everything should be ignored. I think that people... I think you're right. Yeah, true.
Tehran, you're getting similar reports, and also horrific images are being shared showing how these security forces opened fire on crowds of people, aiming at their eyes, trying to blind the demonstrators.
Of course.
And so while the Iranian regime is trying to block us from reporting, we're doing everything we can to get around those hurdles so that we can bring this information to the world.
And to that point, Trey, yesterday on this program, we interviewed an Iranian-American Moj Madara, who has a lot of families still inside Iran. She put that death toll 16 to 20,000, she said. And I asked her, what are the people in Iran right now really focused on needing? And they said that Starlink has got to continue to come. And that's the only way the true story is getting out. Are you hearing any more about the Starlink efforts to keep those coming into the country?
Yeah, Griff, absolutely. These Starlink terminals are the only way that much of Iran is able to communicate with the outside world, and the regime knows this. And so I've talked with sources who say that security forces are going...
Well, they're even trying to jam the Starlink, too, in order to, stop more people from communicating and being able to get messages out of Iran.
To door in major cities.
It goes to show absolutely useless the UN is. Yeah, no, the US should never pay attention to the UN. The UN is only useful for bullying small countries in Africa. That's it.
Trying to look for Starlink terminals to confiscate them and then arrest the people that are using them to communicate with the outside world. There are a number of SIM cards from other countries that are also working in Iran, giving a small group of people the ability to phone the outside world. But it truly is an internet blackout, and it's creating a scenario where we know just 1 or 2% of the reality on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And the images that we're getting now are predominantly coming from state media, and so they're certainly sterilized.
I wonder what that's going to be.
And the comments that you heard earlier from Iran's supreme leader directly taunting President Trump, who has called for the regime to stop this crackdown on protesters and to immediately halt any sort of executions that were planned.
Trey, what about the executions? Last week, there was supposed to be that 26-year-old, 24-year-old young man that was supposed to be...
Yeah, so Israel's paying for the Starlink, regardless of what's good or bad. Would this not help fit the narrative that Israel is fomenting the riots? No, I thought Elon Musk was paying for it. Starlink isn't owned by Israel. It's owned by Elon Musk.
Hanged. But then there were 800 more that were
supposed
to be executed.
As far as I know.
Got involved and warned them against that. What's the latest there?
What we understand right now is that that was a temporary measure to stop these
executions
they're providing it
for
in Iran,
free.
and it's something the Trump administration is going to have to watch closely, understanding that the Iranian regime has a long history of executing political prisoners, executing people without trial. And that is the concern of the thousands of Iranian protesters who were taken to these prisons and jails across the country, that they could be killed at a later date once international attention shifts away from Iran. So the message that we're receiving from not only Iranian...
That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to wait it out so it leaves the news cycle, and then they're going to just systematically kill all of the people that were protesting against them. That's what they're going to do. I mean, if I were the Iranian government, that's what I would do. I would just say, let's turn off the internet. Nobody will be able to talk about this. And then we'll just take the names down of all these people that are problematic, and then we'll just kill them next month, right? Or 2 months from now or something. That's clearly what you should do. If you were them, that's what you would do.
Demonstrators, but also the Iranian diaspora around the world, is to continue speaking about
That would
Iran
work. Exactly.
over concern not just of those who were killed, but also those who remain in Iranian prisons.
Yeah, I thought that 24-year-old was beaten to death in prison. That's a report I had heard. We also know that David...
So he wasn't executed. They just killed him in prison. Okay, that's great.
Barnea, who's head the Mossad, is now in Florida meeting with Steve Witkoff and others. So real quick, Trey, why do you think Netanyahu went public and said, we really don't think the president should act now? Why do you think he tried to make sure the president didn't act?
I don't know why.
There are a couple things to consider here, but when you look to last summer during June of 2025, there was a 12-day war between Israel and Iran, and we were reporting here on the ground in the Middle East amid that incoming ballistic missile fire. Around half of the missiles that were shot down were actually shot down by U.S. vessels and air defense systems who were helping the Israelis to ensure that their airspace was clear amid this.
Oh, they want to have the boats over there so they can stop it preemptively. That's probably what it is.
One of a number of reasons why the Israelis may have asked for a delay in a possible strike on Iran, understanding that if this leads to an all-out war, the Israelis are going to need the assistance of the United States.
It's the same thing. Israel attacked Iran.
Trey, thank you very much.
The Trump administration decided against the military intervention because the Israeli government and their counterparts told them not to do that. But Donald Trump did say he will take strong actions if the Iranian government begins executing those protesters.
I think that you just can't trust them. At this point, if you've got your guys out there on the street, you've turned off the internet and they're just killing people. There's enough videos and images that have come out already that have just piles of body bags of people. It's pretty obvious that people are getting killed en masse over there. So just imagine how bad it actually is. I mean, if you're going to do something, now's the time to do something.
Governor
But
of
if they want to have the boats get over there first, I mean, I guess that makes sense, sure. I mean, like, from a logical perspective.
Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro.
More broadly, as a Jewish leader yourself, are you surprised that we're not seeing more demonstrations in support of Iranian people, for instance, trying to liberate themselves from this oppressive regime, like we saw with protesters rallying for Palestine when Israel was being accused of genocide?
Well, the reason why is because leftist people have been captured by Islam. And they view Islam as a good thing. So if they see Islamic regimes falling apart, they will actually fall off on the side of being on the same side of an Islamic regime. That's the reason why. It's so weird. Yeah.
I don't think it matters that I'm Jewish when I say this. I think what matters is that we should all stand up and acknowledge the extraordinary bravery that we're seeing from the Iranian people who are taking to the streets, knowing that their lives could be cut short by this repressive regime who are out killing these protesters. I think it is extraordinary what we're seeing in Iran.
No, it is. It's obviously insane.
Interesting. He's on a book tour. He is talking about that. There are a few things where he overlaps with the president. That seems to be
far left activists largely silent on Iran protests. Again, that's because they're too busy trying to defend pedophiles and rapists in America that are being deported.
One of them.
It's pretty
great point Jackie had. You're getting people who are murdered in the street, being shot in the back of the head, pregnant woman being assassinated just for standing up to have some semblance of rights, and they're being killed. Where are the protests in New York City? You know why? There's no organizers. Can you imagine? They're worried about political agendas. They're not worried about the health and welfare of people that they've never met, like they pretend to care about the people of Gaza. They've been shown to stand for nothing.
Well, and the point's pretty obvious that the reason why
they stand against America. They hate America, and they will advocate for whatever is in the worst interest of America. And like whatever is antithetical to, basically Western beliefs. That's where their value system comes from. Is it's completely reactionary versus the civilization that they live in. It's a power trip. I mean, kind of. Yeah, sure.
The protest.
That's really all there is to it.
Over
Super
Gaza
simple.
is because it's not involving.
Even though it's stupid, there it is.
If the message were anti-Israel, then the same crowd would be out there, but they're not because it's Iran and it's crickets.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I think that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Contrarians? Well, they're not contrarians. They just hate America. It's just that simple. Like, it's really not that complicated, okay? Like, this is more footage here. This is protesters this is live ammunition on January 8th. So this is 12 days ago, or more than that, 11 days ago. Less. Look. See? Man. Gunshot? Absolutely. Yep, I'm in full accelerationist mode. Yeah, they're literally just shooting bullets at the protesters. That's nuts. There should be crowds of leftists pushing for U.S. intervention. Well, you can't do that. I mean, they can't advocate for that because it's something that's negative towards the West, right? Or positive towards the West. And positive towards Israel, too. So because it's in Israel's best interest that Iran gets freed, unfortunately, we can't free Iran. You can't help Iran because now that would be helping Israel. And actually, have been hacked by the opposition. Millions of Iranian citizens inside of Iran will now see video messages from the Shah. And you have, like, this is also, like, straight out of, like, V for Vendetta. Look. Look. Man. It's so fucked. Yeah, it is. Why do we care about Iran? They cause problems everywhere. Yeah, they're causing problems everywhere and doing bullshit. Uh-oh, here we go. Apparently Anonymous claimed responsibility. Well, I hope they did it. I don't know who did it, but whoever did a good thing. So now they're literally beaming in. They're beaming in the Shah's messages to Iranian households on their TV system. Man. They're the ones financing all the Arabic terrorist organizations? Yeah, they're the main ones. That's cool. Yeah, this is actually a scene out of V for Vendetta. I remember that happened. Yeah, and they're probably like, what the fuck, right? And there's one more of these that's worth looking at too. Yep. It's a nice TV setup. Yeah, it is. Down. So it's actually on the TV. W hackers, absolutely W hackers.
کمک در راه هست. پیام ویژه‌ای دارم به پرسنل ارتش.
Every channel too? Yeah, apparently. It's like everywhere, and so now everybody's able to see this. Kurdish protesters began to climb walls around the U.S. consulate in Iraq. I mean, I would be getting the fuck out of there. Like, if it was the U.S., like, I'd be trying to get as many of my guys out of there as possible. Because, yeah, that kind of stuff is going insane.